trees till you're up to your knees in love.
There's a tree house in the meadow below the mountain peak, the perfect place for lovers when they play hide and seek.
There's a covered bridge at Cripple Creek where the horses always stop. Between the tree house and the covered bridge, that's how Mom and Pop are making love in the country where skies are blue. All you'll be dreaming of are the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees till you're up to your knees in love.
There are roses on the trellis and the scent of new mown hay. The clinging vine is jealous on the fence across the way.
There's a great big yellow moon above and a breeze to sing a song. Between the roses and the yellow moon, a fella can't go wrong if he makes love in the country where skies are blue. All you'll be dreaming of are the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees till you're up to your knees in love.
Lord to goodness, not again.
Howdy, Drago.
Morning, Curly.
Makes 7 times this month he come home swoggles.
6.
7?
6. Once was his birthday. That don't count. Give me my bucket. Didn't have anything for breakfast but 2 raw eggs and a mug of honey.
No.
Curly!
Yes, boss.
Don't say it's a fine morning or I'll shoot you. Get out of here, Bunyan. Good morning.
Morning.
Carlos, what are you doing up there?
I hope I get it this time, Mr. McLintock. My brothers, they got the big hats already.
All right, let them have at it. Get over it.
Did you only me drive? You promised me you would sometime.
No, yeah.
Boss, you better watch that turn onto the road. You're gonna kill both of us one of these days.
Thank you, Mr. Boss.
You got cattle in the back, boss.
Yeah. Give it up. Yeah. Keep 'em going. 15 cents a pound all the way to Kansas City. Yeah. Yeah.
Boss, there's one old pensioner I wished you would pass up.
Bunny?
Yeah.
I knew where I'd seen his face before.
He's an old timer. He's just been around town a couple of years.
Oh, you have no milk of human kindness.
Morning, Mr. McLintock.
Morning, Bunny.
Well, I can see you're in good health.
Never felt better. Contrary to what you may hear.
Me, my kidneys ain't what they used to be, and my liver's been leaving me bilious.
Drago? Hello, Ben.
Hey, McLintock.
Drago, throw that in the buggy.
Yes, sir. The scrubby bunch of Sooners, huh?
They are at that.
Well, it ought to make Douglas happy, lining his pockets with land fees.
What are we gonna do?
I don't know what you're gonna do, Ben. Me, I do nothing.
200 families. Quarter of beef a week per family. If they last 2 years, that can be a sizable number.
I got 20 head to 1 of any other brand on the Mesa Verde. I'm not hollering.
Some of us haven't got all the money in the world. Some of us ain't old and tired and feel like being put upon.
You interest me, young Ben. Go on.
So the first time I find one of our hides wearing our brand hung on one of them settlers' fences, I aim to kill me a plowboy. You do what you want, McLintock. We'll do what we want.
Fellas my age generally call me GW or McLintock. Youngsters call me Mr. McLintock.
All right, Mr. McLintock. Not because I'm afraid of. You're the big he-stud of this country. And I reckon a fella my age should call you Mister.
Full grown now, GW. He's a half owner of the spread. I made him a full partner the day the doc gave me the long face.
Well, you want him to vote the first time this territory becomes a state, don't you?
Of course I do.
These settlers get burned out, there'll be a lot of hollering that this country's too wild to be a state. We'll go on being a territory some more, with a lot of political appointees running it according to what they learned in some college where they think that cows are something you milk, Indians are something in front of a cigar store. I'm looking to you to hold young Ben down.
I'll do what I can.
Come on over to the house once in a while. We'll rack up a few hands of stud.
GW, that'll be just fine.
It's a nice morning, ain't it, boss?
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Like that again, eh? Here's something that'll cheer you up. About 1,000 head. I figure they'll bring about 1,250.
They're not as fat as I'd like to ship. They all off the North Range?
Yes, sir. Settlers. Every one of them with a plow and a Bible. Not the slightest idea what the range is for.
Drago! Drag out that hog leg.
Yes, sir.
Give me some attention.
Yeah! People! 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 Come on, all of you. Gather round. People, come on. Gather round.
I'm McLintock. You people plan to homestead and farm the Mesa Verde.
Yes, sir. The government give us each 160 acres.
The government never gave anybody anything. Some years back, a lot like you came in. You had a pretty good first year, good summer, easy winter. But the next year, the last rain was in February. And by June, even the jackrabbits had sense enough to get off the mesa.
Folks, do you know who that is? That's McLintock. George Washington McLintock.
I told him that, Douglas.
He controls the water rights on 200 square miles of range. You know that lumber you got? It came from his land. Cut by his loggers and milled in his mills.
Douglas, I come close to killing you a couple of times when we were younger. Saddens me I didn't.
Can you imagine a man who owns all that? Oh, and mines, too. I forgot to mention them. All that. And he's begrudging poor people a measly 160 acres.
That right, Mr. McLintock? You begrudge us a little free land?
There's no such thing as free land. You make these homesteads go, you'll have earned every acre of it. But you just can't make them go on the Mesa Verde. God made that country for buffalo. Serves pretty well for cattle. But it hates the plow. And even the government should know that you can't farm 6,000 feet above sea level.
Any trouble, Mr. McLintock?
No trouble, Jeff.
How about you, Douglas?
Douglas? Just plain Douglas, eh? And you call him Mr. McLintock. Why?
Well, Douglas, I guess it's because he earned it.
Mr. McLintock?
Yeah?
I'm a good hand with cattle, Mr. McLintock. I'd like a job.
Well, you look strong enough. You come in with those Sooners?
Well, yes, sir, but we don't have a homestead.
Can't use you.
Tough life, ain't it, Sonny?
Hell, ain't much future in being a farmer around these parts.
Ladies, this is the finest Chantilly lace available anywhere.
Chantilly, Mr. Birnbaum.
Well, believe me, it's the best. Oh, excuse me, please. Look around. Take your time. Drago, I got 1,000 Havana cigars and 12 of those hats for you over there.
Them fair big hats ain't gonna last long the way some folks have been dipping into that red eye these days.
Uh-oh. Good morning, G.W.
Good morning. I stole some stick candy.
Please, help yourself. Come on in. Davy, you can forget about saddling up the horse. Come in here.
Problem?
Yes.
Well, if I were blacks, I'd move Queen's Bishop to King 4.
Yeah, you might be right. You know, I was just starting to work this out when the letter came.
Letter?
It was...
What happened? Don't you want me... Morning, Mr. McLintock.
Morning, Davy.
You being here saved me a trip. Oh, that hat and suit of clothes you picked out for my birthday? Well, instead of this cowboy hat, I'd like to have this one. If it's, all right with you, sir.
Oh, that's all right with me, Davy. Of course, that looks like the kind of a hat a fella'd wear down Main Street to start a fight.
Oh, I don't need a city hat for that. All I have to do is walk down the street and some wiseacre will call me an Indian, and just like that, the fight's on.
Davy, the letter, it's for you. And you are an Indian.
Yes, I know I'm an Indian. But I'm also the fastest runner in town. I've got a college education, and I'm the railroad telegrapher. But does anybody say, hello, college man, or hello, runner, or hello, telegrapher? No, not even hello, knothead.
Davy.
It's always, let the Indian do it.
Will you go out in the store and help the ladies?
All right. I'm also bookkeeper, part-time clerk. Always let the Indian do it.
The lady brought that out here this morning, asked for it to be taken out to the home ranch for you. Handsome lady, kind of tall with red hair. Called me Mr. Birnbaum, just as if she'd never seen me before, and as if that veil that covered her face would keep me from recognizing her. I thought she was in New York or Europe or someplace.
So did I.
Jake, you better throw on a couple extra cases of the boss's favorite bourbon. That stuff sure gets used up fast out at our place.
Which reminds me, you better start tapering off.
Catherine's in town.
Katie?
Morning, Mr. McClintock.
Morning, Mr. McLintock.
Good morning.
Hello, morning, Matt.
Darling. Fauntleroy,
Morning, GW.
what are you doing in here? Why aren't you out at the desk?
Helping out the bartender.
Yeah, I see a busy day. Give me the key to room 17.
What?
17, and don't advertise it.
Here they come, Mr. McLintock.
Set 'em up.
Here, whiskey.
Day off?
Off day.
Wonder what he's so preoccupied about.
Haven't you heard? No, what? Katie's back in town.
Katie? Yes, dear. The social arbiter. Well, hi, Sonny.
Good morning.
Oh,
He sure is a polite one.
Mr. McLintock, I don't want to bother you.
I'm sorry, boy. I told you, no job. Catherine.
George Washington McLintock. I thought you'd want this.
First dig of the spur. But who am I to upset your plans? Don't you feel kind of silly?
I never feel silly.
It's because you have no sense of humor. Why couldn't we sit down in the hotel dining room and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about? Or why couldn't you just come over to the house?
And have everybody know that we're meeting.
Everybody knows, and what's the difference? We're married.
And that is something I should like to change.
You know the answer, Katie. That isn't why you sent for me. Let's get to the rat killing.
That's just the kind of remark that's always endeared you to me.
Let us open the discussion.
Very well. Our daughter is coming home in a few days. Or rather, she's coming here. It was just a slip of the tongue that made me refer to this ugly hamlet as home.
Our daughter. Is it so hard to say her name? It's Becky.
Rebecca. I hate that name. Anyway, she's coming home. And I hope to persuade you to let her live with me. Part of the time in the capital, part of the time in New York, and, of course, Newport during the season.
You're whistling in the wind, Katie.
If she stays here, she'll become just as crude and as vulgar as all of this country.
And if she goes your way, she'll be all show and no stay. No go, Kate.
I hate you. Oh, how I hate you.
Half the people in the world are women. Why does it have to be you that stirs me?
Animal.
That's the story. I saw your picture in the paper at the governor's ball. You were dancing with the governor.
At least he's a gentleman.
I doubt that. You have to be a man first before you're a gentleman. He misses on both counts.
Hey, Sonny, you gonna ask him again?
Nope.
Hey, boy, you got a pocket of pride. You gotta beg. You better listen to an expert, Sonny. I'm telling you, you got to grovel. Human nature gets him every time.
Mister, leave me alone.
Everybody does it one way or another.
About that job, Mr. McLintock.
I already told you, son, I've got no need for farmers or use for them.
Just 1 minute, Mr. McLintock. My father died last month. That's how come we lost our homestead. I've got a mother and a little sister to feed. I need that job badly.
What's your name?
Devlin Warren.
Well, you got a job, son. See my home ranch foreman. He's over at the corral.
Step down off of that carriage, mister.
Hold that hog leg. I've been punched many a time in my life, but never for hiring anybody.
I don't know what to say. Never begged before. Turned my stomach. I suppose I should have been grateful you gave me the job.
Gave? Boy, you got it all wrong. I don't give jobs, I hire men.
You intend to give this man a full day's work, don't you, boy?
You mean you're still hiring me, Mr. McLintock? Well, yes, sir. I mean, I'll certainly deliver a fair day's work.
For that, I'll pay you a fair day's wage. You won't give me anything, and I won't give you anything. We both hold up our heads. Where do you live?
The settlers' encampment, down by the mine.
That's your plug?
Yes, sir.
Well, hop on him, and we'll go get your gear. Morning, Mr. Poor Boy.
I'm sure that all you fine people are interested in knowing just what portion of this new land will be your new home. Oh, Jones and McAllister, since you've been more or less the leaders of our group, I'd like to have you come up and check the exact location.
Won't be a minute, sir.
Go after that boy and give him $30. Tell him McLintock pays these riders a month in advance.
From the looks of things, they could sure use it, too.
Oh, Mom? It's Mr. Drago.
Well, and what do we owe this visit from the cattle baron?
I've got a touch of hangover, bureaucrat. Don't push me.
Oh, Backlund! Say, those are Indians. Are there Indians in this homestead land?
Friendly Indians, my boy.
Oh-ho, Backlund!
Oh, Running Buffalo!
Oh, Backlund! Long time we don't get drunk together.
And it's going to be a lot longer time, because it's against the law and you're with the sheriff.
And if I got my hands full, they came into town to meet the train. The old Indian chiefs are coming home.
I heard they'd been pardoned.
They don't know when it's arriving, this week, next week, or next month. So in the meantime, I've got to do something with them. Could I cut out a couple of headier steers to feed them? Otherwise, some of these settlers' milk cows are going to disappear.
That's right, Macklin.
Cut out whatever you need.
Sheriff, are you going to camp these savages with all these settlers? You're asking for trouble.
Mr. Douglas, I already have plenty of trouble. Please stay off my back. Running Buffalo, bring your people over to the clay slide. Go.
Hello, Mr. Macklin.
Tiny Mouse, it's nice to see you. You wouldn't believe it now, but 20 years ago, she was a mighty handsome maid.
20 years ago, you thought so too, Mr. Douglas.
It was just like this. I had a dead beat on old running Buffalo, and my sharp 50 caliber misfired. I was back in that trouble in the 40s. Remember?
I remember.
Hey, you want to tell you something come directly from heaven?
No. Where'd you get this?
That boy's mama baked him. You thinking the same thing I am? She's a widow woman, boss, and she's got a long, hard road to hoe.
Hire her.
I always said you had a heap of sense.
Mr. McLintock, this is my mother.
Your mother?
And my sister.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. McLintock.
Ma'am, this here's my boss, and he has a few choice words to say about your biscuits.
Yes, Mr. McLintock?
Huh? They're great. Well, you old Ken-knees reprobate, how about it?
Fire me? I'd kill myself.
I'm not talking about firing you, I'm retiring you. You've been rustling food for us for 30 years. We're gonna put you out to pasture. All you'll have to do is give advice. Be one of the family.
I'd kill myself.
I may save you the trouble.
But, Ching, you kill yourself, I'll cut off your pigtail, and you ain't never gonna get to heaven.
I'll be one of our family.
I give you my solemn word.
Pretty clumsy family. Drink too much. Get in fights. Yell all the time.
Cut off his pigtail.
All right. I'll be one of our family. Giúp lấy đó. Phải là giúp lấy đó. Giúp lấy đó. Hai. Cảm ơn, cảm ơn.
I hope everything is satisfactory. This is such a big house, it'll take me a while to get used to things. Now, please don't hesitate to tell me if anything is wrong.
No bird's nest soup. Otherwise, just fine. Everything went nicely.
Who's
Finally.
heavenly,
Fine.
ma'am?
Best apple pie I ever had.
Curly's right, ma'am. Hated to leave that last bite. Shall we celebrate with a drink?
Carlos, come in and help me with the dishes. Alice, you want to help too?
Yes, Jacob.
All right, pitch in. Now, I'll wash and you get some dry. Is that good here?
Don't seem possible one woman could use all them clothes.
You keep a civil tongue in your unprepossessing face.
Yes, ma'am.
And unload my baggage, please.
Yes, ma'am. By the way, what does that word unprepossessing mean?
Miss McLintock.
Oh, hello, Carlos. Run and help the driver with my luggage. I couldn't trust anyone else in this house to do anything correctly.
Luggage? Give him a hand, Curly.
Yes, boss. Mr. McLintock?
Are you moving back in?
Yes, but nothing has changed except my place of residence. And I'd be willing to put up with savages rather than be denied the company of my daughter. And I'm proving that by moving in here.
Mr. McLintock, since it's my first day, would you excuse me if I,
Go ahead. Oh, Catherine, this is Dev Warren. He joined the outfit today.
Please, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, how refreshing. A polite young man here. Where did he come from?
He's a farmer.
A farmer?
Well, I'll be doggone. Kate, welcome home.
What on earth are you doing in that idiotic-looking outfit? And don't you dare call me Kate.
That's my butling suit. I'm butling for the boss. And I'm sorry, Catherine. That Kate kind of slipped out from the times I remembered you as being nice people.
Are you going to stand there with that stupid look on your face while the hired help insults your wife?
He's just ignorant. He doesn't know any better than to tell the truth. And I can't help this stupid look. I started acquiring it as you gained in social prominence.
Mrs. McLintock, where do you want I should
What? Put him in the master bedroom.
Yes. But move Mr. McLintock's things into another room. Oh, the one back of the stairs would be best so that he can't wake up the entire household when he comes home every night. Just before daybreak.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, excuse me. Here's your cigars, Mr. McLintock.
I am Mrs. McLintock.
Catherine, this is the cook. This is the lady does the cooking for us.
Mrs. Warren, Mrs. McLintock.
How do you do?
Very pleased to meet you, Mrs. McLintock. Very pleased.
Likewise.
You see, I just came to work here today, and I guess I jumped to the conclusion that this was a bachelor's household.
It is, and then again it isn't. I will explain so everything will be quite clear, Mrs. Wallace.
Mrs. Warren.
Mrs. Warren, it has been a bachelor's household for quite some time. And it will be again just as soon as I am out of here, which will be as quickly as I can make arrangements to take my daughter back east with me. You see, she's coming home from school in a few days, and then we'll be off together, and you can return to conducting yourself as you consider proper in a bachelor's household.
Katie!
Shut up! Until then, I am mistress in this house, and I will give the orders. I want my breakfast served in bed.
Let her. Ain't you gonna say nothing, boss?
Breakfast in bed.
No.
1 poached egg, tea, toast. Oh, GW. As soon as my things are put away, I want to talk to you about Rebecca.
Yes, Mrs. McLintock. Indeed, Mrs. McLintock. Of course, Mrs. McLintock.
The toast, lightly browned and unbuttered.
Of course, ma'am.
Wait a minute now, boss. Where do you think you're going?
I just remembered I got a date.